The education business in Uganda has become a booming retail business. Think about it. Stay with me. But the customers are left crying. Who are the customers in this case? The customers are the parents who get school fees and pay for their children, thinking that they're buying education, but in actual sense, they're buying miseducation, they're buying confusion, they're buying noise. Customer number two are the students who sacrifice their youth to a system that steals their identity and promises them to have jobs after graduation. Let's pause for a second and digest that. Let's pause. What makes this statement to be true? Number one, the growth of the business. The growth of the education business. Please, as I record this video, 2026, data shows that 70% of all schools in Uganda are privately owned. You didn't hear me. 70% of all schools in Uganda are privately owned. What does this signal? It signals that the private investors have been smart enough to acknowledge that a Ugandan parent is willing to sacrifice anything and ensures their children get inside school. Be it selling land, they do. Taking on bad loans, they do. Skipping meals, they do. Selling homes, they do. Selling cows, they do. So what does this signal? It signals that the private investors have acknowledged that the education business is a guaranteed market. So the consequence, every year they build thousands and thousands of schools in order to collect cash. Stay with me. Let's put emotions aside and speak data, because data is evidence. I'm gonna move you from kindergarten to universities, and I take you through the growth from 2020 to 2025. Let's begin with kindergarten. Look at that graph. This is kindergarten growth in Uganda, 2020-2025. In 2020, the number of kindergartens was 7,500. 2025 hit 10,000 schools. Let's jump to primary. Still, 2020, 26,500 in 2020, and 2025, 29,000. You see the growth. Let's jump to secondary. In 2020, 38,000. 2025, 4,500. Jump to university and tertiary growth in Uganda. In 2020, we had 250 institutions under that bracket, and in 2025, 320. That is the growth. Now, there is nothing wrong with the growth, because you and I want the growth. But now my interest is in those that go through the system. That is where my interest is. Are the customers happy? What is the return on investment? Because we've been told that education is an investment. We want to look at the target audience, the customers who go through the system. What's the return on investment? And that pushes me to point number two. Point number two is customers are not satisfied. You didn't hear me. Customers aren't satisfied. Yeah, please stay with me. Let's look at this graph. Who are the customers, by the way? Customers, I told you earlier, they're the parents who buy the education, thinking they're buying education, but in actual sense, it's miseducation. They pay school fees. See, the average parent in Kampala spends 4 million a year on schools. 4 million a year. So now look, in the year 2020, the graduates were 610,000. 2020. Now 2025, the graduate is 700. But when you look at the formal wage or paying job creations, because this is graduate output versus formal jobs. When you look at the growth of the jobs, it is indeed disappointing, because 2020 we're close to 100,000. 2025 we are just slightly close, not even 100,000 jobs created in a year, or opportunities available in a year. So what does this signal? It signals that the number of graduates per year outweigh the jobs in the marketplace. So the jobs available are limited. They cannot absorb. The word is absorb the graduates. Let's look at 2025. This is data. We're speaking data, evidence, not emotions. 2025, 700,000 graduated. And out of 700,000, it's only 610, it's only 90,000 that gotten jobs. So 610 remained unemployed. So they obtained jobs, but on paper and not in reality. Stay with me. They obtained jobs on paper and not in reality. Let me jump back to the 90,000 that gotten opportunities. 80% of the 90,000, guess what happened? They landed jobs, not of their dreams, not of their interests, not of their gifts, not of their talent. Yes. So in the end, when they hit 35, 40, 45, this is what happens. They feel like they are unfulfilled. They're not satisfied. So that's why you see switching careers. That is data. So when you look at this graph, the graduate output versus the formal job placement, it signals an increase in unemployment, which is 12.2%, somewhere there. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the youth, of which 42.6% youths are falling under NEET. I'll explain. NEET. The word is NEET. They are not in employment, they are not in education, they are not under training. Fresh brains, unutilized, not even unutilized. So this pushes us to a question the three actors cannot answer. What's the question? Who is right? Who is wrong? As a parent, I want you to close your eyes and imagine a stage, and on that stage, see three actors forming a triangle. Who are these actors? At the top, it is the government. On your left, it is the school, and on your right, it is you, the parent, and your child. Those are the actors that form what I term to be a blame game, because they cannot answer the question, who is right, who is wrong, what is right, what is wrong. So the government blames, the students blame the government. Students and parents blame the government. That you promised us jobs. Where are the jobs? They are limited in the marketplace. Why haven't you curated them? And the government is like, nah, you guys are not skilled. You are incompetent. You cannot perform in the marketplace because you are incompetent. So students and parents are blaming the government, and the government is blaming the students, and at the same time the government is blaming the schools that you didn't hone or produce competent students, adults ready for the marketplace. And also the schools are blaming the government that, you know what, no, the blame is the thing is with you. You have not created opportunities for these guys to absorb. For us, we gave them degrees, we gave them paper. That's why they've graduated with a piece of paper called certificate. So it's a blame game, but I'm not interested in the blame. I'm interested in who is the winner and who is the loser in this case. Stay with me. Schools are winning. That's why they are growing every single year. They are just winning. You've seen the data. And they are in business. They are staying in business because after all, they are other students that are going through the incubator. It's called incubator, it's called factory system. And the government is also winning because it makes more money from people that are not thinking and creative and productive. It makes more money from them. makes more money from them. So who is the loser? The loser is the parent and the child. The parent is strained financially. He's left when the wallets are financially empty and of course depressed. The father sold land, they sold a home, they sold cows, thinking they're buying education, but they bought, in Uganda we call it byoya byanswa. Parents are buying byoya byanswa thinking they're buying education. It's not education, it's miseducation. It's confusion. It's noise. It's poison. So that is how parents are left losing. And students are also left exhausted. Remember, their youth years are wasted. They sacrificed their morning seasons. That is the first 25 years of your life. They were sacrificed following a system with a fake promise. The worst thing a human being will ever experience is wearing an employee mentality in a body of an owner. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. I'm not against the growth of the institutions because you and I love growth. But again, look at the products, the final products. And still I'm not interested whether they get jobs or not. But what is their mind? They cannot think. Because they have failed to believe that the only way is through jobs. They cannot create, they cannot spot opportunities that, this is a problem, let me create a solution. They can't do that. They can't. So now this gets me to the end of this video. As a parent, I'm leaving you with this exam or assignment. Ask yourself who is your child and do this early. Who is your child? That question answers the purpose. It's a purpose question. You are acknowledging what's your child's purpose. Purpose is meaning. Purpose is the reason as to why they are existing. Because when you find their purpose, you find their flow. You find their flow. A child whose purpose is discovered cannot go through that messy system. They cannot go through that messy system. They can't. So find their purpose, then align that purpose with Africa's 21st century problems so that you leverage on the available tools for the child to create a solution for that problem and then offer the solution, period. Just that. You will never see your child as an employee. You will never see your child going through a system that nurtures them to become employees, obedient employees, beggars, followers, consumers, but rather they will be creators, solution providers, thinkers, producers, and of course leaders. They will never chase fortune. This time round, they will attract. Please, I remain DK. I'm building the first institution in Africa that is producing billionaire CEOs under the age of 19 because I refuse to let my kids be the only free ones. I pulled my kids out of the imported school factory system because I wanted a different test of education for them. And when I looked in the marketplace, I didn't find any curriculum, uniform, building, timetable, teacher that can build my kids as purpose-aware kids, thinkers, leaders, problem solvers, entrepreneurs. And then I decided to do it myself. Today they're following what I term to be the wealth within methodology. You want to know more about this methodology, please, all you need to do is to send us a message on this number for inquiries, +256 4737 6256. Cheers. I remain DK. I'm just your boy. Good luck.